What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of The Bullpen. I'm here with a really, really cool guest. That's probably the best way to put it. Yeah, this dude, if you haven't seen his TV commercials everywhere, you probably will start seeing them now. And this dude, cool is the perfect way to describe this guy. He's had incredible, and I mean incredible success in so many different facets in his business. But once you're around this guy, it's really hard not to smile and laugh. And we were just talking before. I was trying to clear my throat because he's just talking all this stuff. Dan Young, thanks for coming on, brother.
Dude, thanks for having me on, dude.
Appreciate you having me on. Yeah. Any of you don't know who Dan Young is, let me just give you just an idea of what you're missing out on if you don't know who this guy is, right? So Dan is an entrepreneur and a real estate developer. He has been on the Inc. 500 list multiple times. So it's an accomplishment to be on once. You've been on multiple times, which is, for any of you who don't know, Inc. 500 is the top 500 fastest growing companies in America. Multiple times.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. As well as being an Intel Board of Advisor member and an AMD Gaming Advisory Council member, he has been involved with crypto since 2014, before it was even invented. I'm just kidding. Dan has done over $600 million in deals with which have included PC laptops. How do I pronounce this? Zydex.
Like male enhancement. Zydex. It's a prescription.
I need that. I'm just kidding. And many insane tech projects, to say the least, man. You've had some incredible success in so many different things, dude. And I want to know, dude, what's your story, man? How real estate, Inc. 500 multiple times, PC laptops is massive, right? Yeah. Zydex, what you're doing with crypto right now is just insane, right? You've been on the forefront of a lot of shit. Dude, what's your story, man? Who are you?
So I grew up in Los Angeles, very poor, and then was a delinquent teenager, like to party 24/7.
Nice.
And then came to Utah after getting in huge trouble with the law when I was a teenager.
Okay.
So came to Utah, was here, got a job in the mall, and then on weekends worked at the swap meet. Set up a little table, like this table, with Ginsu knives, and I was making like $100 a day. And then
at the swap meet.
Yeah, dude. So it was not low money, right?
Yeah.
So then I was watching late night TV, and I watched them do Ginsu knives where they're chopping fruit up and stuff. So I put on my jiu-jitsu gi, and I started doing kung fu shows in front of people while chopping stuff. Started making $2,000 a day at the swap meet, right?
Okay.
So the big catalyst was I met my first mentor in the mall at Radio Shack. I was like a sales guy, right?
Yeah.
Fixed his little ham radio, and he's like, "You need a mentor?" He's like, "You're Chinese. You like Chinese food, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're cool." So we get lunch.
You can ask that nowadays.
And I go, "Hey, so what do you do, dude?" And he's like, "I sold my company for $1.8 billion." He goes, "You want to be a millionaire?" I'm like, yeah.
Wait. Can we run that dude working at Radio Shack?
No, I was working at Radio Shack.
Oh, okay. You just met him. Oh, and he sold his company for $1.8 billion?
Company. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. So,
okay.
So he's retired and just plays with his little radio and computer, right? So we go to lunch every week. Got the same Chinese food. And in 3 years, I made $1 million. I just did what he said.
What?
Yeah. It was crazy.
Well, I guess the real question we all want to know is, do you like Chinese food?
I do. People always ask me, because my last name is Young, like Y-O-U-N-G. They're like, "How do you spell that in Chinese?" I'm like this. like Brigham Young.
Yeah. That's how you spell it. Polygamy. No. Okay, so if you don't mind me asking, what kind of trouble did you get in LA when that forced you to move out here? If you don't mind me asking, it's not too personal.
So just lots of partying, lots of brawls and things like that.
So you're a fighter, because that sounds like you're doing a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff. You're kind of a fighter at that point.
Yeah, juvenile hall, a lot of scuffles and stuff. So
okay,
So
are you a ninja?
A half ninja.
Pretty much. Okay, so what did this mentor show you that just helped you make $1 million within 3 years? We're going from Radio Shack. This dude sold his tech company for 1.8 B with $1 billion. What did he show you?
Problem identification. So
interesting.
So he's like, "Hey, what are problems people have? Let's talk about that and how we can solve those problems.
Yeah.
How can you can that into clean, clear, written system processes and then solve that?" Right? So my thought was, well, people have computers.
Yeah.
They usually can't figure them out. So how can I solve that? Right.
Interesting.
And so that's how I wrote the plan to start PC laptops. People had problems, and we figured out how to solve them in a continuous, consistent way and execute on that, and then just scale.
Okay. Wow. That's fascinating, because Well, I've always said this when it comes to sales and business. Business is built off the idea that there are problems. And entrepreneur, like my definition of an entrepreneur is someone who sees a problem in the world and takes it personal, right? Because we all see problems in the world. We all see problems in just anything in our life. And then we always say the phrase, man, I wish someone would invent something like this. That'd be so nice if someone would just do that, right? But it's the entrepreneur who looks at that problem and he says, he takes it personal. He says, I'll change this and I'll just do it so everyone we can solve problems. So I'm fascinated that you just said of all the things this billionaire could have shown you, it was problem solving skills.
Problem solve.
So what exactly? So you say, okay, how to break it down, how to identify problems and how to create solutions on it. Walk me through that. Like, what is that system?
Well, I mean, the problem that people had with computers at the time is just using them and they needed help.
Still today.
So we created a bunch of retail stores where we could sit down with you, walk you through. So you'd buy a computer, we'd walk you through, set up all your software, your email, your passwords, and help you with everything, and give you a lifetime warranty. So like if you had a problem, you can come in, you weren't getting nickel and dime, and every few years you buy another one, right? Yeah. So you have residual income. Yeah. And then he taught me about, well, quality is the lack of variance. And he goes, you don't even have to be like amazing. He asked me like, who makes the best burger in the world, right? And I'm like, I don't know, like Joe's Burger Shack down the street. He's like, no, man, freaking McDonald's. Because when you go order a Big Mac here in Japan, it's a freaking Big Mac. He's like, just deliver consistent, replicatable results, and you will win.
Wow.
And so that's what I apply to everything.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, because you did this multiple times. Right, for multiple businesses to scale up on the Inc. 500 list, right? And with PC laptops, with Zydex, with how many other companies have you done this with?
Well, 6.
6 other companies. And you have done over $600 million in all those companies, or is that one specific one?
This is aggregately. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So you got, I mean, it applies to real estate, to cryptocurrency, to stock investing, to software, to hardware. It's all the same formula. Yeah.
Okay. So the formula is how do you identify the problems? What was it they showed you that helped you? Like, because you identified one specific problem with the laptops or just computers, but you took that to multiple other businesses like real estate. Then you took that to like crypto. You took that to Zydex. You took that to, how do you identify these problems?
Just listen to people. So like for real estate. So I bought a bunch of empty Kmarts, right? And then turned them into industrial flex and then retail in the parking lot. And, awesome. So, but the question I was having with all my friends who do a lot of e-com, man, I can't find space. So freaking expensive, man. Like, it takes forever to build. I don't got time, right? And I'm like, what are you looking for? And I was like, I don't know, 10,000 square feet to do this and that with docks. I'm like, so if we had that, you'd pay how much? This. And so at the time, there was a bunch of empty Kmarts and shop codes everywhere. I'm like, I'll just buy a bunch of those, convert them to what these guys need, and then just put your friends all in there, and then you're good. So just keep doing that until it's done, and then you do more. Yeah,
that's so. I'm actually like, I'm so fascinated. That's what you said, because normally when you sit down, okay, when you have a mentor, he starts showing you, you're like, okay, investment strategy. Starts saying, okay, this is why you get into real estate, or this is why you get into, they start listening. Like people start talking about, especially mentors, talking about specifics, right? But he didn't teach you specifics. He just taught you a system of problem solving that you could then replicate across any other industry.
Oh, anything. Yeah. I mean, it's a super simple formula. I mean, you can be dropped naked into any city and know nobody and make millions of dollars in a year if you just apply this process. It's not hard.
So our listeners right now, the process is from A to Z, listen to people, right? Find the problems. Then what would you list out next? Because you're saying this process, like everyone on here about to go make $1 million.
Find the problems.
Right. Find the problems.
Immerse yourself. Well, write down a solution. Okay. And then immerse yourself. So if it's whatever it is, supplying energy drinks or whatever it is, immerse yourself with a bunch of energy drink, the top 5 guys in the country. Reach out. You got social media now. Yeah. Get to know it. Go to their conventions. Hang out. Get it.
Get in their networks. Get in their circles.
And usually they'll find a cadence of what works though. And since it's printing money and scaling, they're not screwing with it that much. Then you can be like, oh, there's a need that they're missing. Okay, so you just turn the variant a little bit. And you don't even have to be great. All you need to do is be better than average and replicate. It's like a freaking quarter pounder of cheese, man. It's not that phenomenal, but they sell more than anybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're mediocre,
right? Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like the thing about McDonald's is McDonald's is not the best burger, clearly.
But we're eating them all the time. Like when you're on the road trip, just give me all.
McDonald's.
Screw it.
It's the system. It's the system that we love about McDonald's.
And they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's like they have a process. Oh, I'll take a Happy Meal, value meal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a simple menu.
Yeah,
you just get it.
Yeah. Wow. So that reminds me of our friend Ryan Bowen with the water.
Oh, he's cool.
Because he literally, I think he mentioned something like that at like the last thing where he's like, I sell water, but then he just said, I don't try to completely reinvent the wheel. I find something, find a small adjustment to it to make it better, and then scale up from there. He just
made the water coolers pretty, had an option for ice.
Yeah.
And there you go.
That's it.
And then sold subscription-based sales and scaled that.
And he's one of the most successful water people that you're going to
buys Lambos all day.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this, okay? You're quickly actually being known very, very highly in the crypto space, right? You obviously you've established yourself in a lot of different spaces, but in the crypto space, you were one of the first. 2014. That's early, right? That's early. I was in high school. I was in high school, right? And that's things like, okay, so you've been in it very, very early, right? And now what you're looking at, what's happening now, and where crypto's heading. A lot of people look at you and they think of crypto because you have put out so much content. You've helped so many people understand the crypto market a little bit better. You've definitely been one of the pioneers of this, right? So let's talk about crypto because there's a lot of shit happening with crypto right now.
Yeah.
But then there's always been shit happening with crypto.
And everything, right? and real estate, stocks. And
exactly, right? And so Bitcoin just tanked 50%. Ethereum just tanked. I think the whole damn market tanked, 50%, right? And then you put out a video just recently about, for everybody. So walk us through, okay, so crypto. What's the deal with crypto right now? Like, what's going down? Why did it tank? Why does it keep tanking? It's a loaded question.
Money is money, though. So crypto is tied to the stock market, tied to everything, right? So when the stock market tanks, crypto usually follows in suit.
See, that's interesting. People told me that crypto would do opposite of the stock market because it's like the hedge or like the gold or whatever. No.
All crypto, if you realize, look at it like today, it's like $1.8 trillion market cap, though. That's smaller. That's half the size of Apple or smaller. I mean, it's a micro market cap. And, the Chinese own 30% of Bitcoins, right? So they can move the market. Really? And then all the other whales can move the market. It's really easy to manipulate. It's like this small group of guys and girls that own like a bunch of stock in a little company.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a market.
So is it stable? Is something to get in on? Like, is like if it could be manipulated that fast by, China or whatever, or by these whales, like, is that what happens when you see these huge shifts? Are they just manipulating the market?
Huge shifts, though, can be caused by market manipulation, but usually just caused by fear in general. So everyone right now is worrying about interest rates going up. I think they might have a quarter point just a few minutes ago. And so there's fear. That's why people start pulling to cash, right? And so you'll see these cycles happening where people pull to cash because they feel safe for a minute.
Yeah.
But then they start getting FOMO going, well, if inflation they say is 7%, but in reality it's 15, 20%.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this cash?
15, 20% inflation. This is crazy.
And so then what they do is they're like, okay, let's redeploy because cash is trash, right? So they redeploy into crypto and stocks because it's a little easier entry than real estate, right?
Right,
for most people.
Big time, yeah.
So that's what they do. And so this is normal to have this fear and courage cycle. There's a thing called the VIX, the VIX you can follow, like a stock symbol.
Yeah.
And it shows you the fear factor level, kind of, right?
Really?
Yeah, and if you just follow that, you could even buy ETFs based on fear factor. So when fear goes up, you make money. When fear goes down, you lose money.
That's interesting. So there's actually something like VIX. So this is software, or is this just like a system?
That's just like they have different ETFs, electronically traded funds based on that.
Based on the fear.
It's like an index of fear. Okay. You can buy fear.
Fear. Okay. So you can buy based off fear, which is probably really profitable. Right? Because if you're buying based off fear, you're buying based off like how the market moves up and down. Like it's pretty predictable. Like a tweet comes out from Elon Musk, creates a lot of hype. Something gets announced from the White House, or we might go to war with Russia. That creates a lot of fear. Pretty. I mean, to me, obviously, how do you predict that? But at the same time, it's that could be very profitable, especially with these kind of moves, right?
Yeah. But markets are cyclical in that when you see the sale, you just have to have a predetermined thesis. So a thesis meaning, okay, I'm going to dollar cost average. Dollar cost averaging is putting a fixed amount of money away, like a car payment every month, until deployed into whatever investment you have. So if it's a couple $100 or it's some huge amount of money a month, you're going to consistently deploy it into those positions, high or low. And then through time, I mean, if you look at like by day, it goes like this.
Yeah.
If you look at by month, even it can go like this.
Right.
But if you look at by decade, it goes like this. Right. So
it's the short-mindedness and the fear that people get in their confined space that creates these problems, right? Because you put that video out about all that, right?
People are into the short term, instant gratification.
Okay, so where do you think it's going to go? Especially Bitcoin, because there's so many other things we could talk about. But I'm really fascinated by Bitcoin because Bitcoin doesn't have a whole lot of utility, if any.
Well, huge actual utility in a way that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a store of wealth.
Okay.
Right? There's only 21 million Bitcoins that can be there. And there's over 19 million or something mined now. So, and all the institutional buyers, like the big, like Fidelity and all these different guys, they're all going to be adding them into their portfolio management.
Like they are going to, or they currently are?
No, they're going to.
Really?
What they're waiting for, though, is the U.S. government. They're slow to move, right? So they're going to release a U.S. stable coin. So it's
like the Fed coin?
Dollar.
Is that what they're saying, the Fed coin?
Yeah, digital dollar.
Interesting.
So once that's approved, Jerome Powell in a meeting even said that a federal issued coin, a U.S.-based coin, could coexist with well-regulated, privately held different types of cryptocurrency. So once that comes out, then the government gets what they want, taxes, and they can track transactions better and all those things.
And then you get Fidelity and all these big corporations jumping on it after that, right?
Yeah, then you have scarcity, right? Because the demand is up, the supply is fixed, and then you see a moon. But you're going to see volatility. I mean, Bitcoin right now is like 30-something thousand. It could drop to like $5,000. I mean, you just
wow.
It's dropped in my day, it's dropped 85%.
I mean, there was that time where it went up to 17 and everyone was freaking out. Then it went back down to what, like 2,000, 3,000?
Back in ours, it went up to like 1,700 and then it dropped down to 123.
Jeez.
So it's like,
I think people would kill. That's the thing is like, I look at them like people would kill to have bought at like 17 or to bought at 2 or 1,700. But probably in the moment, without having the long-term vision of it, you're thinking that's expensive because all you've seen is the past.
Picture this. Right now, we're sitting like you could metaphor it to, we're in 1940 and you can buy Ford and Chevy stock.
Ooh.
Or General Electric or something. Like we're sitting right there.
You think Bitcoin is at that point of like buying Ford in the 1940s kind of thing?
Like Model T stuff or whatever, like new stuff.
Right.
Like that's where we're at. So like if you consistently invest, not being stupid or anything, you know, if you can consistently invest into whatever you're investing in crypto, I think your grandkids will be like, whoa, grandma was a genius. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what if your grandpa had 1940 or whatever? What if he had bought, $10,000 in those stocks?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
all right.
Yeah. I mean, or even just go back to like 1990 Amazon. Right? You don't even have to go. You could go back
Microsoft, Amazon, Apple.
Yeah. And you know what? The tech bubble, the .com bubble, like scary stuff. Because it was super volatile, super up and down. No one knew what was going to happen. I think it's fascinating to look back at these articles of people saying it won't be a thing, it'll crash. Like people like the personal communication. So like the technology and internet will just be a fad, or I don't know. You know, right?
Yeah.
But now you're looking at crypto. So I actually thought Bitcoin was seasoned. That's what's interesting is I thought Bitcoin is like old.
Oh, it's been around for a bit, but
that's what I'm saying. So, like when I look at Bitcoin, I'm like, oh, that's one of the older ones. You know what I'm saying? It is one of the first, right? Yeah. But if it was the first, wasn't it?
There's other projects and things.
Okay, interesting. Okay,
but
so
it's like the first major
one. So I look at Bitcoin, I think, okay, that's been around for a while because this is actually the same thing. A lot of our viewers here in my age group in the 20s, they look at Bitcoin almost like it's like, okay, that's not the new project. Everyone's looking for the moon project. They're looking for Dogecoin, Shiba Inu. They're looking for the one that's going to go to the moon, right? They're looking to get in on Bitcoin when Bitcoin was cheap, right? So
Bitcoin is cheap though.
Okay, see, that's what I want you to talk about is because you're saying Bitcoin's cheap. Everyone's looking at like, okay, Bitcoin's expensive. They want to get in on the ones that are 0.00002 cents.
You can do some of that.
Right. So, okay. So where's the balance there? So because obviously you've got some big stuff coming out of crypto. You have a crypto fund. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
You have a massive crypto fund being launched soon, if it's not already launched. So where do you guys see the balance in that? Where do you see the balance in getting into these smaller, newer projects as opposed to projects like Bitcoin? We don't think is going anywhere, right? I don't think Ethereum's going anywhere either. So those are more like, seasoned projects. Where's the balance between those?
Well, so there's a simple rule. A lot of people talk about it, and it's buckets. So 40-40-20 rule. 40% of investments in very boring stuff. For me, that would be like real estate.
Okay.
Pretty boring, good cash flow stuff.
Right.
And then 40% in mid-risk type of stuff, stocks and things like that are large cap and that. And then 20% in moonshots, and crypto should be, in my mind, your moonshot money, right?
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Now,
so all crypto's moonshots. You consider Bitcoin in there with the moonshot kind of thing.
Yeah, it's risky. Like it go to zero, possibly. Yeah. Now, you could take that same rule and apply it to crypto. So that 20%, like I allocate to crypto, I break that up into 40% large cap stuff like Bitcoin and things like that. 40% mid-level stuff. And then 20% moonshot.
Interesting.
So you can do the subcategory.
Okay, so you take the subcategory of the 20%, which is considered more risky, and you still hedge even the more risky ones with the ones that are like, more Bitcoin, Ethereum style, but then also you take a little more mid-range shots. So and then the moonshots, crap coins. So let me ask you this: what are some of the mid-range ones that you're looking at? Because we know probably what the more steady ones are. Like.
It's pretty simple. You can just do what I call a crap coin spread. It's a joke that I made up.
Okay.
So you could go into crypto.com or Coinbase and you could look at the top 100 projects. You take out anything that's pegged at $1, like a stable coin, and there you go. And basically it goes, the top level ones are less risky, and as they usually go down the market cap list, they become more risky. Simple.
And so you're just constantly researching these smaller ones, because I know you do a lot of research and stuff. You even send out a lot of research to people who follow you, say, hey, look into this one, right?
Yeah, people can look into. There's so many projects now, But again, Bitcoin being like the staple, Ethereum being maybe like the secondary, right? Those are like the two big ones.
Yeah.
But what I think people want to look at is ecosystems, because there's a lot of different cool ecosystems popping up right now.
Well, that's okay. So let me ask you that then, because I've heard people say once it gets listed on crypto.com or Coinbase, it's already too late.
No, that means it's good.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
For large cap, because remember, Coinbase they're worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
They have billions of dollars worth of analysts, right? Yeah. Deciding what they vet to stick on their exchange. So if you look at like their top 20 tokens they have on there, they don't want all the Coinbase users to have like some rug, where people are getting stolen from and stuff. Yeah. So they're going to vet it to whatever, qualifications that they have. Now for moonshot, a lot of times, if you're talking to guys that are starting a project, about the developers and they have an actual utility, or even if it's just pure hype, like NFT, if you're in the right networks, then you can find out what the moonshot stuff is.
So being kind of like, it's not like insider training, but like basically the people who were working for Apple or maybe knew the people of Apple, obviously had a better opportunity than the people who found out about it 10 years later and heard it on the news, right? So because that's actually something you said about that your mentor taught you, is that you find the problems and then you get in those ecosystems, right? Then by getting in those ecosystems, you can learn the problems, right? So there's probably along the same kind of thing of crypto, getting into different crypto ecosystems so you can kind of learn about each project and kind of get, like, honestly, vet it out, see where the problems are, see what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing your own cryptocurrency? Or starting up your own thing?
I advise on a lot of different NFT and cryptocurrency, projects, but there's no need to. Like people go, do you do mining anymore? Because in 2014 we built the largest mining facility, Bitcoin mining facility here in Utah. But it's just like, no, man, it's easy enough, just dollar cost average and buy what you want in the positions that you want. That's why we have the fun though, because we do the pre-screening on the large cap, mid cap, and then moonshot, right? To save people a lot of agony. Right. Because like a lot of this stuff though, we may hear some news and some chatter of what's going to happen to a certain currency, cryptocurrency.
And we can't speak its name at this point.
Whatever it is. And then we can be like, well, man, it's probably a high risk play though, because this news is coming out next week. So then we'll just move out of that, move into a different one. So I've seen people do huge write-ups and drops. Yeah. Because usually people get greedy and they just want to keep riding it forever and then they lose, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't know any really rich traders that have been like a couple decades rich in anything, in stocks and
trading.
anything.
Yeah,
traders, they usually lose.
Dude, thank you. Thank you. I've been saying like
Forex and all that
bullshit.
It's like,
no one knows the market, and anyone who claims to have some system that way they can know the market is blowing smoke up everyone's ass. Like I read this, and I was studying some of this from these people where you have a better chance of winning in Vegas gambling than you do long-term trading. It's a 13% chance of winning, and that just means positive. Doesn't mean how much positive you are. It just means of staying positive as a long-term trader. So they go over like 4 to 5 year period of time. Only 13% remain positive. 13.5% people win in Vegas. That's what's crazy is like based on algorithms they just calculate. So you have a better chance of going positive in Vegas than you do long-term trading.
Yeah.
So trading's basically gambling.
It is. You know, everything's a little bit of a gamble, but
everything's
But if you invest long term, truly, you have a lot better chances. You know?
So talk to me about this fund. What made you want to start this crypto fund?
Pretty simple though. Like for years, people have been coming up, Dan, here's $1 million we invest. I'm like, we're not set up. We're not set up. So my friend Bridger, his dad has a fund. They were like $26 billion IPO. Right? So he
shout out to Bridger. He was on.
He retired out. And I'm like, hey, dude, let's do a GP together. You have half, I have half.
Yeah.
So, dude, I just got my bag, man. I need to enjoy life. I'm like, okay. So then he's like, but my son knows funds really well. He's got a lot of energy. He's young. He's really hungry. And plus, I want to see my son succeed. So you get pops too to help you.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. So then Bridger and I decided to put together a fund and actually formally take people's money to invest and be able to do it and mirror really what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And so it's great now. So I can help some people and cool.
I mean, you've obviously invested a ton of time and a ton of energy into like the research and the study. And dude, like you're constantly sending out like these things and like this research. I'm like, dude, like how are you reading this much stuff about this? Like you're
moving fast.
Do you have a team or is this based on your research? So you have a team of analysts who are doing this for you? Wow.
So what I have is, and they're usually like younger people like yourself that are specialists in different areas like NFT, right? And some are experts in crap coins and some are whatever it is.
How are you an expert in crap coins?
No, you can be. Because
really?
You're in the social groups of the startup.
Okay, right? All right. That's fair. Okay, there you go.
And so that's why I'm able to deploy into projects that once I vet them before they even launch in the whitelist they call it.
Yeah.
Right before anyone else can get it.
Yeah.
That's why it's kind of cool.
And you're definitely one of the people who would have access to that because you kind of are the ecosystem. I'm not saying like you're the only one, but you've established your name in the cryptocurrency space and people know you that you're in that ecosystem, right? You understand, you're hearing about the projects before they're really launched.
They usually ask me, is this going to work? That's in the stage. And I'm like, well, tweak this, tweak that. And really a lot of these younger people that are in the crypto space, I mentor them on diversity of portfolio. So like, okay, you should probably look into real estate. And because a lot of these guys make money quick. I have a friend who's making like $2 million a week now doing his thing, and he's like 25, and I'm like, dude, let's peel some off. Let's get you some apartment buildings that are really boring. He's like, but the returns are so crappy. I'm like, you're gonna thank yourself when you're old. Trust me, this ain't gonna last forever.
You got 25-year-olds making $2 million a week in crypto. Guys, son of a bitch.
Not every week.
No, right. But
they get these texts.
It's
like,
happening.
$2 million this week. I'm like, wow, So like, because they're doing cool projects,
Okay, so they're building out the project. I mean, that's the thing is when you're the pioneer behind something, when you build the business around it, that's where there's some crazy profits in that, right?
Insane.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're launching this fund. When does it go live? When does it launch?
It's going to be a few weeks. Bridger's in charge of compliance and all those things. It'll be open to a limited amount of accredited investors. They need to have $1 million and besides their main primary residence and assets and things like that.
Yeah. Or making like $200,000 a year or stuff like that, right?
250 plus.
250 plus.
Bridger's got all the compliance stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But it'll probably be full at the point of launch though, because everyone wants to get in. And then we're going to launch some secondary funds though.
Okay.
As well, so that the broader market can get involved.
Okay, so you're going to have one that's not so much for just accredited investors, for more like a public.
They'll always be accredited.
Gotcha. Okay, so
always be accredited or higher, because then we're moving our main fund to what's called qualified investors. So 5 million or more.
Right.
There's some. I was talking to Bridger's dad, and some of his friends have funds that it's $100 million minimum.
Yeah. I mean, someone like Ray Dalio won't meet with you unless you have a net worth like $5 billion or something like that,
Ray's
right?
awesome, Uncle Ray.
Oh, you know Ray?
No, but I was about to Uncle Ray because you read his books and he's like the Yoda. He's Uncle Ray, right?
He's the Yoda. You say Uncle Ray, I'm like, what? Do you know Ray Dalio?
Yeah, but for the home gamer though, you know, I would recommend that. And this is not financial advice, but again, you really just need to pick some large cap stuff and be continuous on your dollar cost averaging and deployment, though. And steady. It's got to be stuff that you're cool with losing, having gone to zero. So it should be enough that you don't lose sleep over.
Because come back to your rule, that's 40-40. That's this stuff we're talking is really the 20%, right? And you can break up the 20%, but again, you're saying like it has to be something you're willing to lose because it's a smaller portion of what you're actually doing, the 20% based on that rule, right?
I think the whole spread should be what you're willing to lose. Okay. So even if you're just buying Bitcoins, be willing to lose it. I mean, I don't know, I could drop 90%.
Yeah. There's too many people I've met there where they say, I'm stashing everything I have into, just crypto. Like, I'm like, okay.
This is like I hear people, you got to burn the ships and you got to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like if you're hitting rock bottom 2-3 times your career, you're a freaking idiot because you're not talking to your mentors. You're not talking to the right attorneys, your CPAs, and setting up a correct system process.
Yeah.
Like some people think, you got to hit rock bottom multiple times and learn your lessons from your blows. It's like, you're going to have little hiccups, but massive collapses usually happen because you're just being sloppy.
Interesting. Not keeping to those systems that you're talking about.
Yeah. Like how many guys you know? 0 pigs. It's like, bro.
Yeah. So it's
and if you're going to find a mentor, try to find one that's been, doing good for 2 decades plus.
Yeah,
and it hasn't eaten crap too much,
Yeah, it has had too much.
Because they've learned from their mistakes, right?
Right.
I mean, maybe it happens once or twice in your life, but come on.
Yeah. Well, so your fund's going live here soon, right? And you're getting into the crypto space. What's next for you? Like besides this fund, like what's some big projects you got coming out here soon? Besides the fund,
the fund is really the big.
Is that the main one?
Focus. Obviously, we have our tech companies now, which are great, and we have great presidents and leaders of those companies. Well, the fund is fun. But the secondary thing is my Instagram stuff. I don't sell courses, I was talking to some friends like Sean Whalen and different guys, and they're like, hey, you should do a course, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't need the money.
Yeah.
I like to just help people. So my philanthropy is giving free knowledge out.
Which you're great at.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not selling you anything. Just share it so we can help more people.
And let me say this. I don't mean to cut you off, but you do it he does it in a very entertaining way too. So that's super important because in college, listen, these dudes are just boring as hell, man. So like for those who want to know more, like, yes, you put out some great stuff, like, and you put out so much. I'm like, damn, like this dude's got a lot of energy, right? How is he doing all that? But then you do it in such a entertaining way. I love it. Sorry, I don't want to be cutting you off. I want to make sure people know that.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it, and it's good. You're just alive, and doing your thing and helping people. And what's going to save America though is entrepreneurship.
Yes.
The problem is I keep seeing like the 75 hard stuff, which is great and all, but I call it like 7,000 hard. Like it's just little movements of discipline every single day of a system process that make you successful. There ain't no 75 days that can change your life, 30 days or anything like that. I mean, it's something that you have to just commit to every day.
Yeah.
And execute on if you want to be successful. There's no fad. There's no diet. There's no, I mean, it's boring sometimes, but you have to be methodical with it and start enjoying it.
I mean, almost every guest I've had on here who's had major success has always said the same thing. Consistency over time will always dominate anything. It will, like, consistency over time is the key for bodies. Like, because I've had bodybuilders on here, I've had crazy amount of success. That's it, right? For, crypto, for anything. Because how many people, this is so fascinating to me, how many people actually bought into Bitcoin way back when, 2014, and stayed with it? How many of them sold their Bitcoin when they bought 100, all of a sudden went up to 1,700, and they saw all these massive gains? They're like, oh, sweet, Or even when it got to 5,000 or 17,000, how many of them stayed with it the entire journey all the way up till today? Very few.
That's because they deployed too much typically.
Okay.
Or they wanted to just cash in too much, to go buy Lambos and stuff like that, which is fine. Lambos are fine.
You have some Lambos.
They're pretty dope. You're only spending my rule is like, if I'm going to buy a car, I have to write a check for it 10 times over.
I love that.
And not even care.
That's Jay-Z has a rule: if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. Your rule, Dan Young's rule, is you can't buy it 10 times.
10x, man. Yeah. But now, if you can get a Lambo for MSRP, you can flip it and make 150 grand.
Dude, when I bought my Lambo, I got it from the dealership, MSRP.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't realize, I was like, oh my gosh, like
free money.
I was like, I just made money on a Lambo. I didn't even know that. You know, I was like, it's like sweet. Everyone talks about driving a new car off the lot and how you lose money.
On the list, man. I'm on the list for like 27 different new cars.
Are you?
You know, they're good as they're selling for way over because supply and demand.
Right. Which new cars are coming out for next?
So you can take it, do some Instagram stuff and some things like that, then sell it to your buddy for a discount under eBay, and then you're good, and then get a new one. Get 10 of them.
So there's a lot of speculation right now with regulations. You know, obviously you're talking about the Fed coin, right? That scares a lot of people because when I talk to people about cryptocurrency, they look at crypto as like bring the power, you know, back to the people. You know, get rid of decentralization.
It's not going to happen.
Okay, talk to me about that because you're one of the few people in the cryptocurrency space that keeps it real because I don't think it's going to happen either.
I'm pro-regulation.
Okay, interesting. Talk to me about that.
I don't care about this. Like, it's like a garage band getting big.
Yeah.
Who freaking cares?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. What matters, though, the government just wants to make sure they're getting paid their taxes and they can track what you're doing as far as the tax base or other collections, right?
Sure.
So obviously regulation, and a lot of, you know, there's a lot of haters. Oh, Dan, why are you saying that? You know, but really, that makes it legitimate. So you're going to need government regulation. But then Bitcoin and all these other coins become like speculative stocks.
Yes.
Which is fine. They're not making those illegal.
Right.
As long as it's all based on the US dollar.
Yes.
Right. So as long as the US has the power, and the dollar, the only reason why we're not going to be having some massive financial, like the US is getting invaded by China and crap. And the reason is what backs the dollar is nukes. We have nukes and tanks and airplanes. The military backs the dollar. We'll kick your ass. That's why everything's based on the dollar.
The nukes back the dollar.
Yeah, nukes. That's why it's cool. Like, I mean, it's not cool, but like they have nukes to back the dollar, and that's why people don't screw with us that much. Yeah, just blow you up, and they don't want to get blown up.
I have never heard someone put it like that, but I love that.
Right, nukes back the dollar.
The nukes back the dollar. Yeah, dude. So regulations is for sure coming out. Which to extent like when you look at the cryptocurrency market, especially the last however many years. And NFTs even still, it's like kind of the Wild West. How many people are, because here's the thing, something new, unregulated. What originally happened is black market takes advantage of it, right? It was a lot of stuff with Bitcoin originally was happening with black market, right? And that's one of the reasons people stayed away from it.
People are dumb when they say that. I got to tell you why they're dumb. Because like if you see Pablo Escobar and all these guys, they don't have Bitcoins. They got $100 bills, man.
True.
I mean, like the U.S. dollar is the number one used for crime currency in the world.
Okay, there you go.
Like Bitcoins. Bitcoins are tiny.
That's
nothing.
So people would say that, but then you get these people who come in, which it takes just a couple people who take advantage of the system to ruin it for everybody, right? They come in, take advantage of the system, run some scams, run some things, and then all of a sudden take advantage of people. Then the government comes in, wants to regulate it, right? Which, in a lot of ways, if it's going to be on a mass scale, kind of needs to be.
Yeah.
But in the same way, people hate that. Right, because they want the freedom, right? They want the freedom to have their own thing. Okay, why do you say that?
Because I mean, really, most people want a system process put together by an organization to guide their lives, right? As we saw during this whole pandemic thing, though, like people really wanted help from the system, and they wanted to be lazy, and they did 75. Actually, they did 900 soft. Here's free money. Go get Netflix and DoorDash all day. And pay for that $McDollar worth less.
Right? Yeah.
Stupid. 900 soft.
900 soft.
Dumb. So then it takes 6 months to build a habit. So then you have 900 days of laziness, and then you expect people to go back to work.
It's hard right now. There's a shortage in people coming back to work.
That's like giving your kid an Xbox unlimited DoorDash, and being like, "Dude, go work out and go to the gym every day, dude."
True.
And the kid's gonna be like, "Bro, Dad, I'm not gonna do that."
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid. Like.
There's a job shortage right now. It's not I mean when there's a job, not a job, excuse me, a worker shortage.
There's the laziness overage.
I love, exactly.
Because it's 900 soft.
You need to coin that phrase, the 900 soft method.
Yeah. We just put 75% of the country in 900 soft.
Yeah. And I mean, they talk about how it's a separation season. I know I've had some mentors say that word, like that phrase, because when everyone else is sitting back and going in 900 soft, It was the people who dove in and went even deeper and took advantage and stayed disciplined. And look how much wealth was created in that time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like most of my friend group doubled their net worth in the last 3 years.
I mean, look at Elon Musk's net worth and how much has gone up in the last 2 years.
And he pays more taxes than anybody.
He does pay more taxes than anybody. Yeah. You hear that, Elizabeth Warren? He pays plenty. Okay, Dan. So regulations are coming out. You see that as a good thing. You see that as something that makes it more legitimate, that gets more, big corporations, actually inside of it. Like we're talking Fidelity, we're talking these big corps. You think they're waiting or you see that they're waiting until that actually happens. So once that happens, then where does it go?
Once that regulation happens, though, then it's mainstream. Then people can punch into their IRA account, talk to their financial planners and all that, easily, seamlessly move things around. Demand goes up, it rises naturally. It's just like the stock market, man. Yeah. Think about like when Grandpa was there trying to buy a Ford. Like it wasn't easy. You had to have a special broker, dude. And you had to call it in. They had to like bid it with a ticker.
Yeah,
and all this junk. I mean, it wasn't easy. Now it's just like click. So as soon as they make buying crypto and seamless asset transfer within people's IRAs and things like that on these big institutions that people trust, then you see the baby boomer money moving over like on a mass scale.
Yes.
Then you're talking like trillions and trillions of dollars.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so what's your prediction then? How much? What's going to be the next moonshot?
10 years, Bitcoin probably over $12 million.
Holy shit! Wait, what? Okay, wait.
I think I made a video back in 2014 when Bitcoins were like 120.
I thought you were going to say like 100 grand.
I go by 20, I don't know, 21, 22, 23, Bitcoins will be like 50 grand.
Yeah.
And people, when it was like 120 bucks, and be like, you're on drugs, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, it's just mathematics, supply, demand. And people are dying, losing their wallet passwords and forgetting it and all that and blah, blah, blah. And just think if every family in America bought, I don't know, 100 bucks worth, what would Bitcoin be worth? Probably over $12 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, 100 bucks. I mean, it's like.
Wow. Dude. I thought you were going to say 100 grand. I thought you were going to
No, probably 10, 12 million maybe, in a decade. If adoption goes well and it gets regulated and blah, 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 blah.
Well, okay.
Or zero.
Yeah, okay. Very true. It could go to zero.
Yeah, if quantum computing comes in and destroys the code and and the robots take over the planet from Neuralink and
then at that point everything fucking sucks.
But the worst case scenario, the worst thing that happen is we'd all be in heaven. As long as we're good dudes.
Depends on we'll see who makes it there. Yeah. It'll be fun. Okay. So you see mass adoption happening very soon. You see that obviously taking it, to a whole other level. Obviously that's why you believe it. You put your money where your mouth is and you're helping a lot of other people. Dude, if what you're saying is true, if that mathematics like plays out, you're talking about a lot of wealth being created in this country or just around the world.
Just mirrored the stock market from 1940 up. Like look at the market cap of the stock market back in the 20s and 30s or whatever and 40s, and look at it now.
Wow.
Like it's like going from gas cars to electric.
Yeah.
And you get all these guys, I love the sound of gas cars. And like people used to love the smell of horse shit. And you got to get used to that. I love the rotary phone. No one will touch a flat glass screen. It's too cumbersome. It's like evolution will happen. You can't stop it.
I love the smell of horse shit. That's a good
Some people love the smell of horse shit.
I guess they do.
Because it's organic. Or, I don't know what it is. Like,
sure.
People have horses. We're in Utah, dude. A lot of people got horses.
That's true. Yeah.
It's not like you're riding to work every day.
That's gold right there, man. We're gonna make a video for that one. There's no doubt about that. All right, Dan. Well, if there's one thing you'd like to leave our listeners with, what would it be? What's the message from Dan Young, the Millionaire Code Man?
I'd say execute. Like you need to execute, but don't execute blindly. I'm no expert. Again, I'm an entrepreneur like you.
Jeez, I would say you're an expert, but
sharing the story to people of what's worked for me. Do your diligence. Do your research. Don't invest in anything without talking to professionals. You should always talk to CPAs and attorneys and all those things if you can when you're putting together a portfolio. And again, don't invest anything that you're not willing to lose in anything. Yeah. Whether it's buying stocks or crypto or anything
real estate, yeah.
Yeah, have a good buffer. Make sure you have a good buffer so like if things go to crap, you can pay your rent and feed your family for, I don't know, half a year or something. And that's okay. And sometimes you get faster by going a little bit slower. Doesn't mean you need to crawl, but it's better than like eating crap. You're going so fast, like so much, so fast.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't need to go to zero, you know? Like,
yeah, right.
You know, and talk to people that are experienced, educators. And the internet's there, man. So you got all the knowledge in the universe right here.
Yeah, true.
It's like really cool.
Put in the work and it's going to be right there for you.
Yeah. And then, Dan's Millionaire Code is my podcast. Hopefully we can put my podcast link is in my Instagram.
Good.
A Dan's Millionaire Code. But there's like 4 million fake accounts of me. So make sure there's like 150,000 followers. Yeah. And then maybe we can put a link on your thing.
We will. We'll link all this. So Dan's Millionaire Code on Instagram. Obviously your podcast as well, where you put out a lot of information, right? We're going to link all this in the bio. Is there anywhere else where people can go a hold of you, like websites or anything like that?
You can go to dansmillionairecode.com.
There you go.
If you need a computer, Xidax, Xidax.com. That's the core business, and they're really rad because you can play video games and do all your crypto stuff.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Make money while you sleep. Maybe.
Dude, maybe. Yeah, could go to zero. Well, Dan, dude, I'm grateful you came on, brother. I'm excited to talk to you more. I'm excited to get involved with you and all this stuff. And, you know, everyone, please go follow this guy. And even if you just follow him for the education purposes or for the entertainment purposes, because this is a cool dude right here. It is a lot of cool shit. And he does it because of the discipline that he's talked about here today. Dude, Dan, thanks for coming on the bullpen, brother. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, man.